Hi, welcome. I'm Meredith McCarthy. This is another talk time where we talk about hypnotherapy, everything to do with hypnosis. And I've got a really interesting topic today around, some general questions that people ask me. And as a hypnotherapist, obviously you are in a profession that not a lot of people know about, and I thought it'd be quite nice if Teresa Saunders is going to be joining me in a moment, and she asks me a whole lot of questions, and I'll do my best to answer those questions that are commonly asked. So I hope you enjoy this talk time today. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me along this week. And like you were saying, we're going to have a little bit of a change up again this week. We're going to have a bit of a Q&A time, aren't we?
Yes.
About hypnotherapy, and if people have wondered what hypnotherapy feels like, or how it can help with stress and anxiety, or smoking, weight management, etc.
So what's your first question for me?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the basics. What exactly is hypnotherapy?
Well, first of all, it's natural. We go in and out of hypnosis all throughout our day. So when we daydream, we actually are using a hypnotic mind. Our brain waves do actually change. So we go into theta and alpha waves. Without getting too much into that, we're more open to suggestion. We're very focused when we're in a hypnotic state, and that makes it really good for therapy. When you go to a movie, you suspend disbelief for a little while, so you sort of are tranced out in a way. Your time disappears, and you might be there for 3 hours and it feels like a moment. You become suspended into the drama as if it's real. So there's a part of you that takes on board that suggestion quite readily. Yeah, so hypnosis is natural. What we do to help a person go into hypnosis is to guide them, often using relaxation. Yeah, so in short, most people utilize that hypnotic state also when they're going to sleep at night. When they're waking up in the morning, they're in between awake and asleep state, where they're daydreaming. Yeah.
Okay, that really sounds very intriguing. So can you tell me, how does hypnotherapy work?
Well, we're helping the subconscious to run a different program to maybe what it's been running before. So if someone's got a fear or phobia, let's say, they've got often a trigger response to certain stimuli. So it could be they've got a fear of heights. So every time they go into a situation where they're dealing with that fear, they have an anxiety response. And obviously that's not the desired response that they would like to have. So hypnotherapy can really help to change the way that they run the program. Yeah.
So a sort of change in belief patterns, is that right? Yeah.
Definitely. Not only belief, but obviously the reaction. So the reaction needs to be modified. So the belief is a core part of that reaction. Obviously, if you change the belief about something, if you believe that you are okay, you are safe, you're going to automatically then change your emotional reaction to the same set of stimuli.
With that in mind, what kinds of issues can hypnotherapy help people with?
Well, many people come in to quit smoking. So to ditch an addiction or lose weight or achieve a goal of some kind. So it's a mindset tool. When we're looking at overcoming fears and phobias, that's another big core part of what we do as hypnotherapists, helping people to overcome fear of flying or maybe fear of public speaking. So they could be in a corporate role and they've been dreading the meetings or dreading a conference where they have to stand up and present in front of a whole lot of people. Often I'll get people coming in needing support with that. Otherwise they think, oh, I just need to leave my job and I can't excel in my role, and it's terrible. So anything to do with mindset, changing a mindset from an undesirable mindset to a more desired mindset. So that is quite, I guess, eclectic what we can work with. We work with all sorts of things.
That's quite a list. Is hypnotherapy safe?
100% safe. It's natural. It's not this unnatural thing, and I think a lot of people get into their head that I'm going to control them. I've got them under my command, which isn't right. When we're looking at therapy, it's about that client wanting the change, first of all. So I'm not forcing something upon them that they don't already want, but they want assistance. And that's where we come into our own as hypnotherapists. We're there to assist people through a process that is very natural, but helping them to just course correct a bit, because they're obviously living in a way that is not their desired way. So they're wanting help for that change. Yeah.
Okay. So we've established that it's natural and that it's a safe practice. Is there scientific evidence to support the effectiveness of hypnotherapy?
Yeah, there's lots of research that has happened over the years with pain management, irritable bowel syndrome, anxiety, all sorts of things. There was also a study done with burn victims where they were changing the dressing and they were looking at the pain that the people would go through. And the group that had the hypnosis would actually do a lot better with even having their dressings change. I don't know if anyone out there has ever had a burn or a serious burn or knows someone who has. It can be terrible, and it's torture for months and months, often, that healing process. So definitely clinical hypnotherapy proved that it was a very, very safe and effective way to help manage that. And actually, the group that were doing the hypnosis did a lot better with recovery.
Okay, so can absolutely anyone be hypnotized? Do you have to be a certain age or type of person?
I think most people do naturally go in and out of hypnosis, okay, but the degree of trance might be different. So some people are going to be more suggestible than others. I think that's where people might get a little bit confused. Yeah, that level of suggestibility. So if someone's quite stubborn and they're a little bit stuck in their ways and they're still resistant to change, then they might be a bit of work to get movement happening, right? And I'm sure people have met friends that, they make a decision and it happens overnight, it's like done. And then you've got other friends that might make a decision, but, a year and a half later, it's taken them to take action. Well, welcome to the client. Like the client's going to take as long as they choose to take. So sometimes you will get people who are fighting or a little bit more resistant to being hypnotized in a clinical space. But when they're ready, things happen, things can change. But that level of trance, that level can depend also on how comfortable the client is with you. So building rapport is a big part of a client session. So if someone trusts you, they're more likely to follow that suggestion and surrender into that suggestion. Yeah.
Okay, and here's a curly one for you. What does it feel like to be hypnotized?
I think the nicest way is that everyone is different. But a lot of people might sort of say it's a bit daydreamy. So it's almost like they go away with their thoughts, come back to my voice, go away with their thoughts, come back to my voice. But they're kind of semi-focused, but they don't have to be fully focused all the time. So it's like when you're driving from A to B, you don't have to remember the whole drive or be aware of all of it consciously. Your subconscious is still driving safely from A to B. So while I'm talking through something with someone, even if they drifted off for a moment, there's another part of their brain, the subconscious, that's still listening and is still going to take on board those suggestions and work on them in the background. Yeah, a lot of times people feel like they can't remember a lot, but I might jog them, say, oh, do you remember that when I said da-da-da? Oh, yeah, actually I do now. Or they go, no, I can't remember a thing. But when they think about dreams, like how many dreams have you woken up from and you've remembered the dream for a little while and then you've gone to tell it again, it's gone? It can be a bit like that.
Oh, I know that I've dreamt that night and can't recall any of it, but I know I had a dream and it was a good dream. But yeah.
So some people do that, and other people, so it's hypnotic amnesia. They actually don't remember it all. But that's okay. It doesn't mean it's not working. And it doesn't mean they're asleep either. I think that's a little bit of a false myth there, that they've gone to sleep, but they haven't really. They've just gone into a very deep, resourceful state of mind, where they're more open to suggestion, and their inner critic has taken a back seat and they're just kind of, going with it.
Okay, so if I come along for a session, will I lose control during hypnotherapy?
No. So again, at any stage you could override the hypnotherapist. You could open your eyes if you want. You can move and do the opposite of what they asked you to. At any time, you are still in command of you. And I think that's really important. A lot of people see stage hypnosis. So let's talk about that for a moment. There is a group hypnotic experience that happens on stage, where if someone believes they're about to be taken over and not have any ability to control their own mind, then they're hypnotizing themselves into that.
Okay.
So often it can feel to them like they had no choice. It was like I couldn't understand why I was doing it. I just found myself doing it. So often they'll describe it like that. But when we're looking at therapy, now therapy is long-term change, not just short stage, a bit of fun. So it's a very different thing. So you're changing something about the way that you behave in the bigger world. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you can't make me do things against my will. That's, unless I actually am open to that suggestion and want to do it anyway.
Yeah. So a stage hypnotist will actually test how willing is this person to play? How open to suggestion are they? How good are they at following suggestions? So there'll be some suggestibility tests that they'll do. Like a normal one would be clasping the hands and focusing on them and imagine that they're stuck. And the more you try and pull them apart, the more stuck they become and things like that. And you can see a person, really kind of finding it quite perplexing, and that's a person that we want to use on stage because they're very open to that instruction. They can follow instruction and they can engage their focus and imagination.
Okay. So how many hypnotherapy sessions would I need?
It depends on the person and it depends on the issue. So some people will literally come in for one session. Let's say it might be a fear of flying and they just need the one session and that's one and done. But some people who come in for flying might need 3 or more, depending on the person, depending on who they are, what their history was, where they're really at, and their willingness, again, to trust in themselves. Because quite often there might be a long time between when they're coming to see you and when that next flight is. So they haven't tested it yet, but they might still be nervous it might not work. So for their sake, they might come in for some sort of building sessions in between. When we're looking at sleep hypnosis, like people who have got insomnia, again, they're sleeping from that night on. Fine. If it's a little layered, there might be some other things that they need to resolve and work through that could be keeping them up at night. So quite often the symptom is not necessarily the cause. So we're looking at what is the cause here, and if you can create enough rapport, if you've got time with the client to work that out in that first session, then you're well ahead. But for some clients, it might take a number of sessions to really unwrap and understand what's really going on here.
And after a session, what would I expect to feel?
Well, some people can go away feeling a little bit drowsy, a little bit headachy, because it may be that they're processing a lot, but that's actually a very uncommon side effect. Most people are feeling quite good. So they're feeling good because they've had a breakthrough, or they've had a little nana nap in a way, like the hypnosis, they're feeling bright and refreshed. So a hypnotherapist's job is to reorientate someone back into the here and now. So if that hasn't happened, maybe they might feel a little bit groggy or not quite with it for a bit. But people will naturally come out of hypnosis. It's not like you are going to stay in hypnosis and the hypnotherapist might accidentally keep you in hypnosis. No, that's not going to happen. You're actually going to naturally go about your day and come to that full awareness fairly quick. A lot of people might not want to come during the morning and go back to work because they might want a bit of time to process whatever it is. And that depends on the topic. So if you're coming in and you're doing some trauma work with me and you don't feel like you really want to go back to a busy workplace, it's a bit stressful after, use your judgment. That client might come later in the afternoon and then go home after that, just to give themselves some space.
Yeah. Okay. So how would I go about choosing a hypnotherapist? Is there anything particular I should be looking for?
Yeah, I think first of all, are they your kind of person? You need to feel like you could relate to them. So have a look at the website. What are they saying about themselves? Do you feel comfortable with what they're saying? What have they done to qualify, and are they with an association that recognises their qualifications? So it is, good to kind of check these things out, because there are courses that a person might do, and they, after one weekend they call themselves a clinical hypnotherapist, and it's not really great. So when someone's done a diploma, they've done a lot more. So they've put in the hours of training, and they've been vetted, and when they become aligned to an association, so the New Zealand Association of Professional Hypnotherapists is the one I belong to, they vet you, and you have a police check, and you have to do ongoing clinical supervision, and peer group support is there, and professional development and things are in place. And also there's the code of conduct and ethics, and a constitution. There's all sorts of things that we adhere to as professionals. So I think it is important, is this person a professional hypnotherapist? Are they actually aligned to a professional body, an independent professional body, not just someone who's got, out of a school and joined as a member? So, have they actually been vetted? So, they're doing safe practice and stuff. Yeah.
That's a good thing to know. So is hypnotherapy currently covered by insurance companies?
Some. My one, they said, if in doubt, we pay out. And I thought, oh, that's nice. so some of them are more open.
Up for your one.
Yeah, some of them are more open than others, because they believe in mental health, okay, and getting back to work, and there might have been some trauma or something going on, or maybe they've had long-term illness or something that's affected their ability to go back to work, and getting support and hypnotherapy is definitely a tool that could be utilised. But unfortunately at this point, hopefully it changes. Not all hypnotherapists are recognised by all insurers. So that is just how it is at the moment. But there are the odd place that you might have your insurance with that could absolutely cover you for that kind of thing. It's just having a conversation with them.
So we've spoken about hypnotherapy, and it helps change emotions and mindset. Can hypnotherapy help with medical conditions as well?
I do believe that's often used actually in the UK in the medical system. They use a lot of hypnotherapists coming in to help people who are allergic to anesthetics and things, and help them through procedures. So the healing time is quicker if you don't have to use pain relief and other things. It is useful if we can use hypnosis in some medical procedures. So if you go online, I'm sure you'd find people who've done root canals under full hypnosis, and it's incredible, the way that the mind can work. I know we have a colleague who had his pin taken out or something in his leg, and he did that under hypnosis. So yes, there is definitely, again, irritable bowel syndrome can be effective. A lot of anxiety disorders and things can definitely be assisted by hypnotherapy. I think there's a lot of clinical evidence, but it's very well buried. So it's not often being shouted out to the world like I'd like it to be. If you go on the NZAPH, the New Zealand Association of Professional Hypnotherapists website, we actually have certain papers there that show some of the clinical studies that have been done with regards to health. Yeah.
Okay. So hypnotherapy, can that be effective for helping quit smoking?
Yeah.
I know you're experienced in this one, Meredith.
Yeah. So for years, when I was working at the Quit Line in New Zealand, if people aren't familiar with it, it was a service that was there to help people to quit smoking, and you would be on the phones and you'd be talking people through a quit plan, and you would assess them for what we call NRT, nicotine replacement therapy, so nicotine patches, gum or lozenge. And you would send out the scripts and they would go and do that, and you would give them a call and see how they were going and so on. So with me, I understand the power of a story and the power of conversational hypnosis. So a lot of those sessions that I had when I was working for the Quit Line were very hypnotic in nature. And I really enjoyed helping a person shift their mindset just by asking them key questions in a clever way. It helps them to self-actualize, they suddenly join the dots, they have that powerful moment, and many a client would biff their cigarettes away as I was talking to them, or write messages on each of the cigarettes and scrunch them up and put them in the bin, or poke holes in the cigarettes and stuff. And it was like a big ritual, and it was so nice to have people doing really proactive things on the phone. And when in the hypnotherapy session, quite often if a person's still got their cigarettes there, they'll go through this cathartic process of letting them go. I just love that empowerment moment. But yeah, over the years, I've helped a lot of people quit smoking forever.
So we've touched briefly on quite a few different topics today, and hopefully that sort of enlightened people listening about how broad and wide hypnotherapy can actually be. I'd like to thank you for your knowledge, sharing your knowledge with people, and I'd like to invite listeners to go along and check out your website, New Zealand Academy of Clinical Hypnotherapy, if they like, and see a little bit more about what you can offer on courses you have and options.
Yeah, well, we've got a course coming up soon, so yeah, check it out. I've made it really accessible, so if you can't physically come into be trained in Wellington here, you can join us online as well. I will invite people who are Wellington based to come along in person. I've got a space on my floor where my office is. This is my office in the background, and we have a meeting space there that we can all gather, and I can live stream that for those that can't physically make it. So there will be breakout rooms that you can, connect with others, or someone can sit in front of the screen and you can do swaps as well. So even if they're in person, someone will be keen to talk to you. But a lot of it's learning at your own pace. So we've got 18 modules that you can journey through, and it's got some multiple choice questions and case studies and recommended reading and other things that you need to go and do assignments on. So it is quite a robust course. It's 1,000 hours, right? So I really designed that to be quite thorough. So I have a great belief that by the time you finish your study with me, you're going to feel confident and competent about doing a full session with a person, no matter what it is that they're presenting with. It's a humanistic approach that I focus on. I'm I guess I'm a very strong advocate that the person or the client has the answer, and we're there to facilitate their own power and support them with their journey. So anyway, yes, you can visit our website www.nzach.ac.nz. Flick us a question too if you want to know more about stuff. We're going to do a new series and unpack it gently. So that's what we're doing for next week. We won't tell you more. You'll find out then. So tune in week from now. Thank you very much, Teresa, for asking me those questions and helping me unpack some things.
You're welcome, Meredith. But before we all go, I'd like to just remind people to like, subscribe and share, get the message out. And please, go have a look at the website, check it out. Drop us a comment below if you want to. Give us some feedback, any questions you'd like us to cover. Be interactive. That's what we want.
That's right. Awesome. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.